All right, all right, all right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Carden Ellis, and today I am joined in the studio by not in the studio, via Zoom, by none other than Luke Hansen and Alejandro Rodriguez from Rough Stone Trolling. And it happened. Candace dropped the video exposing the Mormon Mafia, so we, the real Mormon Mafia, are going to react and refute and just tell you the real inside scoop as to what's really going on. Is it a Jewish Howard Hughes Zionist conspiracy, or is it just gold pilling the world? Why do we control so much? We're glad to have you here. Please make sure you like the stream when you guys come in. Just so you know, guys, I called Jasmine Rappley to get her permission, the real Mormon mafiosa, to make sure that that like this was like sanctioned, shall we say. And she said unfortunately she was not able to join us, but that she gives her full permission for us to speak about these things which shall not be normally said. So we're going to start out pledging allegiance to that. No, I'm just kidding. So Luke, tell us what's going on. You're the first one that called me about this. This video just dropped today, and it is the awesomest, funnest, coolest, juiciest thing I have seen in a while. No joke. Courtney Love is supposedly the reason why Candace went down the, not the rabbit trail, we would say the rabbit trail of the Mormon Mafia, but it's a taper trail, actually.
Yes.
Look it up. So anyway, Luke, tell us what's going on, my man.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I would call this the awesomest or the funnest or any of those words that you use, but it is certainly a thing that happened today. 2 days ago, Candace Owens said that Courtney Love was talking to her about the Mormon Mafia and the Jewish Mafia and all these interesting connections, but she was giving her audience too much that day, so they were going to have to pick it up maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, which was yesterday, 0 mentions. But then today, of course, she drops her Mormon Mafia episode. It's right on the thumbnail, which I have put in the Discord, Carden. Charlie and the Mormon Factory is the words on the thumbnail picture. And then, of course, the title of the video itself is Andrew Colvett blames me for Erica PR backlash / the Mormon Mafia history explained.
Okay, cool. So, awesome. So are we just going to jump in? Are we just going to jump into your video?
Yeah. So what I've done is over the past 2 hours, I have descended into the pit of insanity to extract out from Candace's 32-minute long ramble 8 minutes of her claims and facts and connections that she's making with this Mormon Mafia. So we're going to play my condensed version of it just to preserve all of our sanity. And we're going to point out not everything, I won't promise everything, but some of the things that she got wrong, because there is a lot.
By the way, before we start, I used to be a little bit offended by all the crap that Candace Owens says, but now can we just declare her a national treasure?
No.
No. She's given us so many, at what she gifted the internet with, it's a little bit fake and a little bit gay. And now we've got fake and gay from her. She's probably 40% of the reason that Kanye West went crazy. She gave us Polish communist bees to explain Deseret.
Oh, that's right.
And now we're getting this, like, what? Who else could bring up Emmanuel Macron's wife is a man and get away with a 12-part series? Alex Jones couldn't do that. So, that
is rather impressive.
I've stopped being annoyed by the woman, and now just like I want her as a neighbor. Actually, no.
No.
Yeah, no. Okay, I don't know if I want her as a
I
neighbor.
would invite her to the Ward barbecue, but not like my personal barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'll see you, on the social nights and the Ward activities, but like my kids aren't going over there.
Oh, that's funny. That's absolutely hilarious. Okay, cool. So let's dive right in. I'm ready to play this bad boy. And we're just gonna be playing your video right off the bat, Luke. So
Yep.
everybody here can know that this was actually previously edited by you, just like kind of like a highlight reel. So we start from the beginning, go.
So the term Mormon Mafia, where does it come from? It is a colloquial term that is usually referring to, and I'll quote, the trusted Latter-day Saints inner circle of businessmen and accountants who were hired by billionaire Howard Hughes in Las Vegas during the 1960s. Okay, so Howard Hughes is the name that we need to reference. Who is, or rather, who was Howard Hughes?
Okay. Do I just keep going, or do you want to just start diving in right there? Actually, we'll just keep going.
So far, she's not wrong, so we'll give her that. This actually is a term used for Howard Hughes.
This is also data from the 60s. Like, things have changed in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
like
also,
none of us are hanging out with these people.
well,
Bear
they
in
called
mind, this
JFK.
is supposed to relate to Charlie Kirk, of course. And Howard Hughes, for reference, she's going to say it, but he died in 1975. And the term Mormon Mafia refers to about 6 or so guys that were in his inner circle at the point of his death.
Okay, but also,
So
I mean,
the connections are going to get pretty wild here.
okay, but also, we used to call JFK and Robert F. Kennedy and the family members that were in the administration the Irish Mafia. And it wasn't the actual Irish Mafia. It was just there was a lot of like-minded people that made it into the White House when John Fitzgerald Kennedy actually won the presidency. So like a colloquialism of saying, oh yeah, that's the Mormon Mafia over there. Like that doesn't mean there's an actual mafia. Also, as she got into the part where she says Courtney Love was responsible for opening our eyes for this, did that make it into your final cut?
No, she didn't talk about it in this episode. That was in the 2 days ago episode that she said that Courtney Love was...
No, I watched it. And she...
Yeah, she just references it again, but she doesn't give like anything specific about the conversation.
Oh, I'm going to have to find the clip because I think it was like right before then. She talks about how it was a conversation with Courtney Love that opened her eyes for the first time to the existence of the Mormon Mafia in conjunction with the Zionist conspiracy. So I think it is so absolutely awesome that we are now getting Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain's ex-wife, is now part of Mormon lore with Candace Owens and Howard Hughes. This is amazing.
But now tell people who Courtney Love is.
Courtney Love was a very popular musician in the 90s, kind of like one of the first female rock stars during like the Alanis Morissette era. Millennials would recognize the name a lot more than any kind of Zoomers or Gen Alpha would, because I don't think she's been particularly relevant for the past 20 years. But she was a very popular female musician that went platinum on a couple of albums, I'm pretty sure. And anyway, yeah, like she's, what's it called? She's, oh, I'm going to call from Quaku here. She's been around for quite some time. So, she's a musician. That's what I'd say. So, all right, we're going to...
And you can, in Candace's full video, if you want to go there, you can go to 2:15 to get her talking about that.
Oh,
the connection.
Oh, okay, good. There it is. So 2:15. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. Here is 2:15. I absolutely... Oh, yep, you're right there. I found it. So here we go. Full connection. This is amazing.
All right, so the Mormon Mafia, who among you has even heard of that term? So I gave you the context of my having first heard the term from Courtney Love, of all people, and I genuinely...
think you're on like double speed.
Yeah, whoops. I was listening to the whole thing on double speed. So here we go.
too.
Sorry about that. So here we go.
All right, so the Mormon Mafia, who among you has even heard of that term? So I gave you the context of my having first heard the term from Courtney Love, of all people, and I genuinely had no idea what she was talking about, what she was referring to. We were talking about Hollywood, and she was then telling me everyone talks about the Zionists, but you have to understand the relationship between the Zionists and the Mormons, controlling everything in Hollywood and music and publishing rights. I was totally confused. I will be clear, however, that in my personal experience, I very much believe there is a Zionist mafia operating because there always has been one. I think Michael Jackson alluded to that before his death, Kanye West alluded to that after his gym trainer, Harley Pasternak, threatened to drug him and take his children away. What kind of gym trainer writes that kind of stuff? And
Dude, I love this. Like, we now live in the era of under just asking questions, you can make any parallel possible and then just endlessly insinuate under like the freedom of speech that we're given in America, whatever connection you want. And she is now invoking 3 of the most drug-addicted musicians in Hollywood history as proof positive that there is indeed a Mormon mafia. And then she's acting like just confused by like how overwhelming the evidence is and how she didn't know about it. She's literally saying Michael Jackson, who died of a drug overdose, okay, whether it was inflicted by somebody else or self-inflicted, is a totally different argument for another day, all right? But Kanye West, the poster child of like modern mental health crises. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Among other things.
Other things. Yeah. And then Courtney Love, who I don't think spent more than 5 minutes sober for the past 25 years, right? As proof positive of the Mormon Mafia. This is absolutely amazing. I'll go back to your clipped video, though, and we'll continue, Luke.
So Howard Hughes, we're going back to 1975.
Okay, this is great. I got to get Jim Bennett on, whose dad was like involved in this. This is hilarious.
Howard Robert Hughes Jr. was one of the richest and most influential people in the world because Howard Hughes himself was not a drinker. He was not a partier. He did not do drugs. He was committed to his businesses. He was also, while he was in business, exceedingly paranoid about communists and their ability to infiltrate companies and take them over. Howard Hughes thought for sure, okay, if I'm going to be able to trust people, I can trust people who live like me. How about a religious group that's forbidden from drinking and smoking and gambling? They live like me.
Which, by the way, still continues to this day. Who here has a friend who's an accountant at a firm that's very successful and they utterly refuse to get rid of the guy? And despite his wildly boring personality, somehow seems to just keep going up the ranks and getting promoted and so on and so forth, simply because he's just so trustworthy due to his moral character.
Dude,
I don't think accountants are known for really outgoing and interesting personalities. So it's a little bit of an odd example.
No, but still. Sorry, Alejandro.
Yeah, good. So, ironically, to give a little bit of credence to what Candace is saying, Elon Musk's like top finance consultant is Mormon, and he had a direct hand in buying Twitter. And like the guy doesn't tweet, and it was like a big story, I think in Newsweek. I'll have to double check the source, but when Elon Musk was like trying to do the hostile takeover of Twitter, people were like, how's he doing this? How's he affording this? And then journalists dug up, oh, he has a Mormon finance guy backing him up. And so, and this guy's like pretty straight laced if he's not on Twitter, right? Like that's like the most vanilla you can get is if you're off Twitter, right? And he's a guy kind of like, making the moves happen with Elon's money, man.
Do you know how straight laced he was, bro?
Dude, I'm sure he has a temple recommend, bro.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
He was my home teacher.
No way.
Dude, the guy you're referring to is Jared Birchall. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, God. No. He's a cool cat. Great basketball player, by the way. Put his time in for like a decade at Merrill Lynch. I think Elon Musk was like part of his portfolio when Elon Musk was a nobody. Elon Musk's star is on the rise, says, hey, Jared, we like you and we trust you. Come with us. So he goes with them. And now, dude, he's been with like Elon Musk for like 20 some odd years. And it's like, yeah, no duh. Like, who did the ancient kings hire to be their bodyguards? The eunuchs.
It was Mormons, dude, for sure, bro. Mormons back then, bro.
It's like, who did the ancient emperors hire to be their, the people that would watch over the money, right? Did they hire just the Joe Schmoes? No. They found the religious orders, right? And so it's like this makes total sense. Not evidence of a mafia, but let me tell you, yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. Jared, great guy, by the way, was pretty I would say he batted over 50% on home teaching, which is pretty good in the Mormon
That's
world.
pretty good.
I say he was batting
that's
like maybe
fantastic.
like he was batting like a 400 or a 500 I'd give him, which is like triple the average, right? So, all right, we keep going. Want me to just keep playing your video, bro?
Yeah, so I mean, and this is how these conspiracy theories work. You say a number of true things, which is the stuff about Howard Hughes is more or less true. It's actually a very interesting story. This guy, I knew about this stuff before. Actually, I know more about him than she does, as we're going to see in the future. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and he did develop an inner circle of mostly Latter-day Saints who were really the only people that talked to him for the last several years of his life, as he became extremely reclusive and just odd. But now we're going to start to, she's going to start to say some stuff. So let's go into that.
Oh, this is so great. I'm absolutely loving it.
I don't know what you mean by this is great, Carden. I'm
I mean,
honestly
so far,
baffled by
everything
that,
I've
but
seen is like just really funny. So, but who knows? Maybe it's going to get heinous
it's
here in a minute.
funny until you see the amount of comments she's getting, the super chats. Oh my gosh, Candace, you're doing the Lord's work. You're uncovering. Like,
this is
people
why we
take this
can't have
serious,
nice things,
and it is why we can't have nice things, and ultimately it depresses me.
Okay,
So,
cool. Well, here we go.
I'm happy for you, Carden, but I cannot share your sentiment.
Okay, well, here we go. She continues.
Okay? I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I'm going to trust the Mormons. One person who he trusted was a man named Frank William Gay, who would then begin hiring people around him.
By the way, this is how immature I am. I chuckled when I heard that name. I was like, that's just fun. It's just fun.
Hiring
Hey,
what
at first,
became
at least his name wasn't like Robert.
Yeah, I hear you.
known as
He got it.
the Mormon Mafia, who would surround Howard Hughes during the rather bizarre last 10 years of his life, when he experienced an entire shift in his behavior. Like I said, he became a virtual recluse. Again, this was in stark contrast to the businessman that the world had come to know and love. The public was told that the reason that Howard Hughes suddenly didn't want to see anybody and became a recluse was because he was in pain from injuries that he had endured over his lifetime. So he began taking painkillers. That he then developed severe, debilitating OCD, which made him avoid all contact with the outside world because he was a germaphobe. Here is an article describing the only men who had access to him, the Mormons. And this was published.
Which, by the way, we've talked about the use of "the" in front of just words of people groups, and how it just like never comes across. Let's just monitor her tone on how she says "the Mormons" as this video goes along. I have a feeling it's probably not going to get better.
Published is this
Well,
in time.
and also when she's talking about all of a sudden, like, he hires this guy, and then this guy recruits a team of Mormons to sort of surround him, and then his personality completely changes. No, that's not what happened. He's the, the Aviator, the Leonardo DiCaprio film. He had the airplanes, tons of money, very interesting guy, movies, all this stuff. He was in plane crashes in 1943 and 1946 that severely injured him. That's when he started using the pain meds, and by all accounts kept using them for the next 30 years until he died. So it wasn't, she's trying to paint it as like he hired a Mormon and then got surrounded by Mormons, and then they got him hooked on the painkillers and made an excuse for it. No, he was already on the stuff, and it progressively got worse. And he was already sort of reclusive, sort of odd. We'll get into a cool story around that a little bit later. But yeah, she's molding the narrative to fit her narrative.
Okay.
Here.
Cool. Awesome. We're just going to continue now, and then if you guys have any questions, yeah, just send us a super chat. I'm sorry, I just keep giggling.
To him, the Mormons. And this was published, is this in Time magazine? Yes, it's entitled The Keepers of the King. It tells us, this was published, by the way, in 1976, Time magazine. It tells us they had no lavish corporate suites, no direct authority over other senior Hughes employees, practically no business experience. They did, however, have two striking advantages. They were, with a single exception, adherents to Mormonism, a religion that embodies Howard Hughes's aversion to drinking and smoking, and they had direct, unlimited access to the king himself. Well, Howard Hughes died, and I have to tell you, it was a remarkably suspicious death, not unlike Michael Jackson's, if you ask me.
So just here we begin. Here we begin.
Wait,
So
we're a secret combination of murderers now, bro.
With the Jewish mafia that controls Hollywood.
Wow, dude.
Because
Let's
remember,
listen to
Howard Hughes made movies and stuff.
dude.
So many connections. The connections are just beginning, Cardin.
It's such a weasel move that she doesn't just say it. She kind of has to like leave a ... to be like, it was suspicious.
If you ask me, let's listen to that one more time.
Well, Howard Hughes died, and I have to tell you, it was a remarkably suspicious death, not unlike Michael Jackson's, if you ask me. He was aboard a jet, actually, a jet that was owned by a man named Robert Graff, Graf. He was the founder of Robert Graff Inc., which became Duncan Aviation. His business partner was Donald Duncan. Yes, that Duncan Aviation, with the mysterious transponding Egyptian planes on the day of Charlie's assassination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yes.
we're
Yes.
getting right into the heart of it. Oh
Yeah,
my God. So now
we're
we
just
own
Yes.
Egyptian planes.
Well, no. See, Howard Hughes was killed by the Mormons just like Michael Jackson was killed by the Jewish mafia on the plane owned by the guy who owned the company that is the company that owned the planes that took off within 3 days and 300 miles of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So many connections. Are your minds blown yet?
Dude,
It's
I
insane,
am
you guys.
loving this.
Dude,
Yes,
I
as
think-
entertainment. No, as the fact that 200,000 people watched this unironically within the first hour of it coming out.
Dude,
Like,
yeah, that is concerning. Well, I mean, what is it like? For the first time in human history, the IQ average has dropped. Like,
Oh, shut up!
I-
Really?
dude, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like a huge thing. I mean, I know where those people are coming from now. They're all concentrated under that channel.
oh gosh.
Dude, you know what's kind of funny is I just sent a text message to Jim Bennett. Because
Yes, because
no, okay, so I'm gonna tell him jump on.
he's in the Mormon Mafia.
It's in the Discord, the Zoom link.
Remind me specifically, was it
His
Jim Bennett's dad
dad.
who was in the Mormon Mafia with Howard
Right.
Hughes?
Dude, his dad did some. Wait, no, I think his dad was the senator of. Dude, I'm a Los Angelino Mormon. I don't follow. Like, there's people that follow you, the prophets and the apostles, like they're collecting baseball cards, and the governors and the senators from Utah as though they're like 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th apostles, right? I'm not that guy. I like Jim just because he's Jim and he's my buddy, right? But he's like kind of a wildly well-connected guy in the terms of like Mormon history of a very, very interesting era. There was some like accusation of like Watergate against like some uncle of his, and I think his grandpa was David O. McKay. Like, I think he's somehow related to
Sounds familiar.
David O. McKay, and I think his like dad worked for like Howard Hughes as a kid or something. So like I'm probably butchering this, and at this point he's probably just yelling at the screen. But I'm gonna let him into the Zoom, and he's gonna be able to tell us what's up. But Luke, keep going.
Yeah, I think we should do some super chats real quick because the people are chatting.
Oh, okay, can you read them out really fast?
Yeah, so first, Latter Day Logic, $5. Thank you very much. Oh, it's a real thing. Gwyneth White at G Wolves started the Mormon Mafia. I'm part of the super secret group chat. If there's money involved, let me know. I want in.
That's Gwowls.
I'll do all the oaths or whatever.
That's Gwyneth White. Yeah. She
Yeah,
goes by
yeah.
Gwowls. Okay, yeah.
Gwowls.
Next one. This is great.
Crandall Ogan 584. Why is Candace talking to Courtney? All she is known for is killing Kurt.
Dang.
I won't comment on that because I don't know enough about it.
Okay, next one. Keep going.
Neon Uggs 9198. She can't stop talking about us because we have main character energy.
Dude,
This is true.
Something's
This is
going
true.
on now.
Dude, okay, so Jews in America make about 2% of the population, and so do Latter-day Saints. So you're gonna run into as many of us as them everywhere you go, and you see a few of us around, and people think it's a conspiracy. It's just statistics, right?
Dude, that's
Yep.
funny. What if we become? So we really are becoming the mountain Jews, fresh with all kinds of conspiracies.
Dude, I will believe that once you
Aviation.
get fired.
What'd you say?
I will believe that once you get fired for saying the and Mormons together in the same sentence. Once
Yeah.
people start getting fired for that, we made it, bro.
It's true.
Okay, dude, that's funny.
Tom Birmingham says Messianic mafias serve the Sabbatian Antichrist.
Messianic
All right.
mafias serve the Sabbatian. So I don't know if that's for or against. There's just too many adverbs and adjectives, and that's just
Good alliteration.
yeah. There's a lot going on in that super chat, but we're very grateful for that super chat. And who's the Sabbatian Antichrist? Is that the Shabbatian? Did he forget the?
Great question.
Because
I don't know. Sabbatian Antichrist.
Watch, he's like, you don't know, and I'm gonna get a bunch of links sent to the Ward Radio
Perfect.
website. Okay, next one. Thank you very much, Tom. The Chris Breezy, read that one.
Candace really thinks she's Sir Ian McKellen. Ooh, McKeon. In the Da Vinci Code, but talks more like Patrick Starr on meth. Yep.
Dang.
Candace, Stevirt 1, yes, he did. I don't know who that's referring to. That's the handle. Candace will say anything for money. Anyone who believes anything she says has totally lost her mind. I agree with that, and I appreciate the reference being made.
Yeah.
Daniel Anderson 155 $2. Thank you. I can feel my brain oozing from my skull. How do you think I feel, Daniel? How do you think I feel? Huh?
That's funny.
Oh, and Mary Lou Howarth sent 10 Ward Radio gift memberships.
Oh, for
So
real.
let us welcome, Candy Payne, Babums, Eric Poppleton, The Musing Ox, Splatamus, John from America, Phoenix Adams, George Jakes, Dalfar, and Machiavellian 1503 for their entrance into the Ward Radio Wigwam.
All
Times
right.
10 W's.
Dude, Mary Lou Howarth coming in strong for us. All right,
So
I just sent the link to Jim Bennett, and Jim Bennett is gonna jump on and gonna tell
Meaning
us.
he said he's going to jump on?
Yeah, he said he's gonna jump on.
Set us straight on the Howard Hughes story.
Yeah, he's gonna set us straight on the Howard Hughes story. So
Maybe we need to tell him to get his alibi together just so Candace doesn't come after him.
Dude, this is gonna be so.
Dude, watch. There's gonna
hilarious.
be hit pieces on all of us from Candace.
Dude, for real.
I feel like Jim's going to be the most under fire, but we'll see.
We will get clipped. Candace, it's all true.
Oh.
It's all true. From Howard Hughes to Elon Musk, we run the world. Do not speak out against us. You
With
might
the
disappear.
Jews.
No.
With the Jews.
Bro, one day Candace Owens will be kissing the wall of the Salt Lake Temple. And she won't, and she's not even realizing that she's on that trajectory already, bro. It's gonna happen.
You're afraid of Mossad? You're afraid of Mossad, Candace? We taught Mossad everything they know. Like everything.
Dude, we have manuals, bro, on how to do this. It's called.
You think Bibi Netanyahu's a problem? Wait till you meet Dallin H. Oaks.
Like, the church so has Salt Lake City in its pocket that they are getting them to shut down an entire city block of
Bro,
road
let's not
for
even
6
start-
months for the Salt Lake Temple opening. And this is not a joke. This is actually happening. They're
Bro,
paying
let's not even-
$500,000 to shut down a
Let's not
block
even
of
start,
road.
Let's not even start on the tunnels underneath Salt Lake, bro.
Dude.
I've been in them.
Hush. We don't speak about the tunnels.
Also, there's the story about Mormons on the moon and under the earth, bro.
Dude, that's real.
I mean, I'm just gonna leave that bait there for Candace to.
No, have you ever read the book? It's something about the journey to the North Pole. The very first reference, Jim's coming in. The very first reference to Hollow Earth was actually a Swedish or a Finnish, some kind of Scandinavian convert in the early 1920s. I have a copy of the book. You know what I'm saying? But a Scandinavian convert thought the 12 tribes of, it was science fiction. He didn't actually think it. But he literally thought that the 12 tribes of Israel had escaped into a hole so deep that there was an earth within the earth. The first reference to Hollow Earth came from a Mormon author in the 1920s, 100 years ago. And so,
I'm surprised we're allowed to say all this stuff on the air, honestly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is so maybe while Jim is finishing hopping on, we can't, or maybe is on, just not with video, we can continue to play the death of Howard Hughes conspiracy that she's weaving. So far we have that he died mysteriously on the plane owned by the guy who started the company that now owns the Egyptian jets that took off sometime around Charlie's assassination.
Okay.
Egyptian planes. And now we'll continue.
Oh, by the way, heaven forbid that successful Mormon business practices create a company that maintains its success for nearly a century and still exists into the modern day. And if it's successful enough to last 1,000 years, not 1,000 years, 100 years, it's probably successful enough to be, I don't know, large. So the only real connection we've made is that there is a large aerospace company that exists. So we continue.
Rich people own things.
Yeah, rich people.
Dude, once you and I join SpaceX
Regarding
and
the
colonize Mars, we'll be the first Mormons to own our own planet, bro. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's in The Expanse, like it's canon in that series.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, here we go.
Come true, dude.
Okay, here we go.
Of Charlie's assassination. Here are the facts regarding the investigation into the death of Howard Hughes, which the investigation had to take place due to a fight over his estate. It was discovered after this investigation that, quote, someone administered a deadly injection of the painkiller codeine to this virtually comatose man, obviously needlessly and almost certainly fatal dose. There was a mysterious handwritten note which was filed.
Okay. We'll stop right there. So what she's referring to, and I've put it into the chat, I believe, although no, I haven't. You might not be able to sign into it because it like requires an account to get in. Okay. But this is just something from the Washington Post, and the original does not seem to be online. This is all it says. It says, millionaire industrialist Howard Hughes may have died from an overdose of codeine, according to a copyrighted article in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Officially, the death of the recluse aboard a plane en route from Mexico to Houston has been listed as chronic kidney failure, but the Inquirer said a long-suppressed toxicological report revealed a potentially lethal amount of painkiller codeine in the body. And that's it. And you can't find this report anywhere online. Candace doesn't give a reference to it. And in fact, the quote that she's quoting is a secondhand source summarizing the findings of it and turning them from, the reports. I have all
the answers on this.
Jim, the voice of Jim Bennett.
Okay, Jim.
Teach us, Jim.
Are you backstage, bro? Is that why you can't be on?
I don't know why my camera's not on. I was just driving, so I think that might be.
Where's your handler? Where's your handler?
I know.
From Salt Lake City. You know what I'm saying? We invented the internet. We control the Jews and the airwaves and the airlines. And
we invented television. The Farnsworth Museum in Idaho.
Dude, so did your dad kill Howard Hughes? What happened here? Clear this all up, bro.
No, my dad did not kill Howard Hughes, but when you're talking about how Howard Hughes died, my dad had a really fascinating sort of input into that. That started decades earlier.
You're going to get clipped, and she's going to say that input was an injection of codeine.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, keep going.
So my father was was the Undersecretary of Transportation in the Nixon administration. and left the Nixon administration and bought a PR firm, and Howard Hughes was one of his clients. He never met him. He never spoke to him. He ended up working for him full time as his PR guy, still never met him, never spoke to him. And his people called Dad and said, Howard Hughes is flying again. This is somewhere around 1972, 73. Said Howard Hughes is flying again and is going to land in London and does not have a passport. And he needs you to go to your buddies at the transportation department and get permission for him to land without a passport. And so Dad calls his people and calls back and says, they say there's no way to do that. Can't be done. So he can't go until he gets his passport. And they said, no. You don't understand. Howard Hughes is flying. He is in the air. He is on his way to London, and he is going to land, and he needs to be able to land, and he doesn't have a passport. So Dad calls back the transportation department and finally gets back, and he says, okay, here's the deal. They've said they will let him land, but if he does not report to the American embassy within 24 hours of landing, he will never be allowed to enter the United States again. And
Wow.
Howard Hughes never entered the United States again. He spent all of his life, the rest of his life, in the Bahamas, and they say he died in Texas, but he did not die in Texas. He died midair, flying to Texas, and they would not have let him land if he were still alive. And so I don't know if that means Candace Owens was right, but that's very much what happened there. My father was hired, so Dad, his PR department, his PR company went belly up because the Nixon administration tried to pin Watergate on it. They said, no, we had nothing to do with this burglary. It was that Nixon zealot Bob Bennett who did this and his stupid PR firm.
Oh.
Howard Hunt, who was one of the Watergate burglars, worked for my father's PR firm. And so Dad was dragged in front of grand juries. I don't think he went before Congress, but he was just investigated up, down, and sideways, and he was given a clean bill of health, but all of his clients abandoned him. There was speculation that he was deep throat, and at one point I wanted to write a book called My Father Deep Throat, and the more he would deny it, the more books I would sell. But it didn't happen.
So
which
you
is
were
probably
Candace
for the best.
Owens. You were Candace Owens before Candace Owens was Candace Owens.
I was Candace Owens. When I was in third grade, I brought a copy of the tabloid The Star to show and tell because my father was on the cover and it said, "This man is deep throat." And I remember my teacher just giving me a look like, what the hell is this?
I just think it's hilarious that in an elementary school in Utah, deep throat was just a colloquialism in the 70s.
This wasn't Utah. I grew up in Southern California.
Oh,
This was in Calabasas.
Okay.
So
There's the Kanye West connection.
there is.
There's the Kanye connection.
There it is. Kanye tried to change the Calabasas High School mascot to the Wolves, and I was part of the effort of the Calabasas High School alumni, and we are still proudly the Calabasas Coyotes. So Kanye can suck it. Anyway.
So many connections.
So many connections.
So that's why you killed Kanye.
That's why is Kanye dead?
Well, no, sorry, not.
He is now.
No. But
Tried.
that's why you tried to take his kids away. It wasn't Jewish stuff. It
Yeah,
was this Coyote v. Wolves thing
That's
at
it.
Calabasas High.
That's what it is. That's
From the
what it
Mormon
is.
Mafia.
From the Mormon Mafia. But the Mormon Mafia was a real thing. So when my father's PR company went belly up, the only client who stuck with him was Howard Hughes. And my uncle, who I lived with while I was going to USC, a man named Howard Anderson, also worked for Howard Hughes. The company was called the Suma Corporation at that time, and they owned Hughes Air West, which was the airline. They owned a whole bunch of stuff. And Dad was brought on as the head of public relations for Suma Corporation.
Okay.
And his boss was a man named Bill Gay, who I think is related to Elder Gay but I'm not quite sure how. But Bill Gay was Howard Hughes's driver early on when Howard Hughes actually saw people.
Well, I'm not going to believe it from firsthand experience until Candace tells me it's true.
She's actually about to say it next in the video.
Oh, okay.
It's literally the next part of the video.
Okay, hold on.
It is absolutely true. Howard Hughes only. You want to play the video, and I'll comment on it. But that part is true. That he only trusted Mormons.
Yeah, dude, this is hilarious, man. So here, let's finish. So Jim Bennett, you heard him. He said it's true, and she's gonna take that. And now, next thing you know, 48 hours from now, there's going to be an episode that says, Jim Bennett, son of Utah Senator Bob Bennett, confirmed all of my worst suspicions about Mormons. This is going to be great. So here, she continues.
The Church of Latter-day Saints, which they claimed was his last will and testament.
No, actually, let's go back a couple
Painkiller
seconds.
codeine.
Oh, yeah. That's the Mormon will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Virtually comatose
We're going to get into that.
Obviously, needlessly, and almost certainly fatal dose. There was a mysterious handwritten note which was filed by the Church of Latter-day Saints, which they claimed was his last will and testament. That claim was summarily rejected by the courts. It was a 34-year legal battle.
All right, so I don't know. Do you have stuff about the Mormon will, Jim?
Yes, I do.
Hit us.
So did Candace already explain that Howard Hughes' entire inner circle were Mormons?
Yeah.
Because they were.
Yeah.
There was a gas station attendant by the name of Melvin Dumar, and he was in Elko, Nevada, I think.
Okay.
And he claimed there's a movie for which Mary Steenburgen won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar. It's a movie that isn't streaming anywhere. There's nowhere to watch it. Drives me crazy because I would love to see it. I've never seen it. It's called Melvin and Howard. And it treats Melvin Dumar's story as factual. Melvin Dumar was a gas station attendant who claims that he picked Howard Hughes up as a hitchhiker on the way to Las Vegas. And as a result, when Howard Hughes died, there was no will, or there was no documented will. And then a will showed up on the desk of, I think it was President Kimball, was president of the church, but it showed up at the church office building. And they called it the Mormon will. And it gave a big chunk of the Hughes estate to the church and to some other people in Hughes's family, and 1/14 of the entire estate was given to Melvin Dumar. And this was the first will that anybody was trying to test or anybody took seriously. And it went through all kinds of different things to try to validate it. And if you read my father's book about the Book of Mormon, he actually goes through all of this because he compares the way the forgeries of the Hughes will are like his point was the farther away you get from a forgery, the more ridiculous it looks. Whereas the farther away you get from the Book of Mormon, the better it looks. So that was the reason he tells this whole story. But one of the things that was in there was that Noah Dietrich had been assigned to be the executor of the estate, which Melvin Dumar didn't realize that just before their death, they had this bitter falling out, and there's no way he would have been the executor. And the other thing that stuck out like a sore thumb was that it talked about what to do with the spruce goose. You guys know about the spruce goose?
Yeah, baby.
The giant airplane.
The giant
Yep.
airplane, and it said in the will, it was described as the spruce goose. Now, the spruce goose was a name that the media gave the HK-1, which was the technical term, or the flying boat.
Yeah, it was called the Hercules, wasn't it?
The Hercules was another, yeah, so it was the
Oh.
Hercules, the HK-1. I think the H stands for Hercules. And Howard Hughes never referred to it as the spruce goose, hated the name spruce goose. And the fact that spruce goose was there in the will was very clearly a forgery. But
Dare I
it
say
does,
an anachronism?
an anachronism. Yes, indeed. It's exactly what it is. And so there is very much a church connection there. I think it was a 14th of the estate that was supposed to go to the church in that will.
I've looked it up, and it says 1/16 to Melvin
16th.
Dumar.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's 1/16. Okay,
You're basically there.
I stand corrected.
Still,
But
same
it-
diff, same diff.
Same diff. So yeah, that there's a movie about it, and that's a real thing. But if Candace Owens is acting like this is some kind of huge revelation, this has been in the public record for 50, 60 years. Everybody knows this.
And your
Well,
dad
and
did
she-
Watergate. Rock on.
Yeah, yeah.
And D. Todd Christofferson was involved in Watergate, and now he's in the first presidency.
Well, there you go.
Oh, based. Based. Watergate all around, dude. By the way, it's so funny now as you study Watergate, how like Watergate would be a nothing burger. Like in today's politics, we have a scandal once a month that is
But
10
that's an
times.
indictment of today. That's not.
Oh, no, I know.
Then.
I'm not saying like, you know, but like Watergate would be a nothing burger. I mean, compared to the Steele dossier, arresting president's lawyers, Epstein, freaking P. Diddy, like what? We would beg to get Watergate back. It's like, oh, somebody extrajudicially like tapped another person's like, you know, offices. Like that would be a slap on the wrist nowadays. I don't even think they would summon Congress together, but like, oh, that is actually really, really, really funny. So now we continue in the video, right, Luke?
Well, so of course Candace is trying to say that these guys sort of surrounded Howard Hughes, sectioned him off from reality, got him hooked on painkillers, made him depressed, didn't take care of him, probably killed him with codeine, and then through the church submitted a will for their own benefit. The will doesn't give anything to them. Candace just
will
leaves
did
that
give-
part out.
I thought the will did give something part of the estate to the church. Does it not?
Oh no, I mean to the Mormon Mafia.
Oh,
Didn't give
correct.
it to them. Yeah, the
Correct.
guys that supposedly killed him for benefit. But she leaves that part out. She just
Right.
mentions, oh, here's suspicious stuff about how he died. Oh, and there was this will that the church submitted, and never makes the connection that the audience is supposed to imply, which is that the will was going to benefit the guys. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was going to benefit the church as a whole, but it wasn't. None of the so-called mafia were named in that will.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
now we continue, and I think we're getting to the driver now.
Okay, cool. All right. We're
There's just so many different things, so many connections.
dude, I'm
you know?
loving this. Before we get further, I just want to read a couple of super chats and then give a little shout out and a thank you to our sponsors. Daniel Anderson says, I can feel my brain oozing out my skull. We already got that one. Mary Lou Howarth. Okay, here it is. Grork says, the Mormon Mafio's code of silence is impressive considering Relief Society can organize a funeral, feed 200 people, and know about your surgery before you tell your family.
Yeah, no Relief Society allowed in the Mormon Mafia. It's all bishopric members.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
the only ones that get to go in.
That's the real patriarchy right there. The Mormon Mafia, dude. We killed Howard Hughes, and you better not give women the priesthood or else we're going to burn the temples down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and apparently, not only did we kill Howard Hughes, but we did it I guess maybe we were trained by the same people who killed Michael Jackson, or we trained the people that then went and killed Michael Jackson because they were the same.
No.
Some sort of
I'm not
connection.
going for we were trained by the same people. I'm going one step further. We trained them.
Yeah, because it happened after.
Oh,
So
no,
we were
just
the
because we're
precedent.
better. Just because
Yeah.
we're better. You know, like if we're going to be part of a worldwide conspiracy, I don't want to be lesser than the Jews that run the world. I want it to, if we're going to be mountain Jews sit up higher. You know what I'm saying? They're in the mountain and they look down. You know what I'm saying? We're in a, what's the big mountain that they think was where Noah landed?
Ararat.
Ararat. Yeah, we're up on Mount Ararat. We're like the OG, you know? So here we go. She continues.
Decided that the majority of his fortune, around $1.5 billion, would be controlled by the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, the charity that I told you he started. Of course, when he died, the trustee of the board became Frank William Gay, his trusted Mormon, who,
Bill Gay.
it would be discovered later, was at one point working with the CIA. Now, today...
Okay,
that
hold on.
That's true too. That's actually true too.
Yes.
Jim Bennett is doing no good on this debunking. He's like,
No,
dude,
no,
that's
but-
true too. It's okay. Keep going. Tell us, Jim, how is it true?
So my father's PR firm was called the Robert R. Mullen Company. I don't even know who Robert R. Mullen was, but he bought it from Robert R. Mullen, and his name was on it. And when he bought it, there was a contract with the Robert R. Mullen Company with the CIA. And the way it was supposed to work was
Janitorial
the
services.
Robert R.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. The Robert R. Mullen Company was a CIA front overseas. So when agents would go overseas, they would say, "Oh, I work for the Robert R. Mullen Company." And the Robert R. Mullen Company would back that up. Dad says he felt that was his patriotic duty. But
yeah.
It totally blew up in his face.
So we don't do lying
because-
for the Lord, but we lie for Richard Nixon.
Well,
We lie
yeah,
for Caesar.
there you go. But when the Nixon administration was trying to pin Watergate on Dad, this came up, and this was, look, you're already a CIA spook, Bennett. So now I don't know about Bill Gay. Actually, so
what
maybe
I've
that's not true.
Yeah, what I've looked at is it's purely the connection to somebody who worked with the CIA. There's actually
So
nothing on him.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's the guy who was connected to the CIA was my father, not Bill Gay. But Bill Gay and my father were missionary companions, which is how they when Dad was trying to find a job after the Mullen Company folded, Bill Gay was the one that got him that job.
Oh, cool.
So they were good friends their whole lives. But I don't know. Bill Gay, his whole career was in the Hughes administration. He started as a driver. He drove Howard Hughes everywhere. And
Wow.
he just was in proximity to Howard Hughes and just kind of rose up the ladder.
Hey, so
But the thing is,
Oh, sorry. Keep going,
Go ahead.
Jim.
well, when you talk about the Mormon Mafia, the difficulty you have is that as soon as Howard Hughes left the United States, none of these people ever saw him anymore. I don't know if they were Mormons who were in the Bahamas who were, he was already addicted to painkillers. He was already losing his mind. Have you seen the movie The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
Mhm.
You not seen
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I saw that with my father, and I said, "Is all that accurate?" And he said, "Yes, but it's compressed." He says he wasn't that bad until he got to but by the time he got to Bermuda, he was storing his urine in bottles and letting his toenails grow out 2 feet and starving himself. He was something like 79 pounds when he died.
Oh,
and
jeez.
all his hair had grown out. He was insane. I mean, he was mentally ill. Before going to the Bahamas, And this was my uncle involved in this, because my uncle was involved in the Hughes Vegas properties. Howard Hughes rented a suite at the top of the Desert Inn in Vegas. And because he didn't want anybody near him, he rented the entire floor. And he was there for like 3 months. And they finally came to him and said, you got to leave. You got to leave. We can't just keep renting this to you. And he said, no, I don't. And he bought the Desert Inn.
Yep.
So that he could stay there watching movies 24 hours a day. He would watch the movies he made. He would watch them on a loop over and over and over again. He wouldn't see anybody. He had his feet in Kleenex boxes to protect them from germs. I mean, he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
And so all of that is accurate, but by the time he got to Bermuda, he didn't see anybody. The other thing that made it into my father's book about the Book of Mormon is the other big Hughes forgery. There is a movie starring Richard Gere called Hoax. Have you any of you heard of those?
Yeah. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
So Hoax is the story of a guy named Clifford Irving. And Clifford Irving was a failed novelist and was broke. And he got his hands on a memoir by a guy I mentioned earlier, Noah Dietrich, who was Hughes's right-hand guy. And Noah Dietrich gave it to him and said, hey, read this. Is this any good? And he took it and he copied it, gave it back to Noah Dietrich, and he came up with a plot to, okay, I'm going to write the autobiography of Howard Hughes. He said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that was in that biography, I'm going to write it in the first person as if it's Howard Hughes writing it, and I'm going to add all this fun, colorful detail, and I'm going to pass it off as his autobiography. And Dad was working for Hughes and said, this is absolute nonsense, because Clifford Irving says, oh yeah, I've been meeting with Howard Hughes in secret. I've been going out to Bermuda and he's been calling me, and of course he's denied it. He's kind of weird and eccentric and doesn't want anybody to know. But yeah, I've been writing this. And they got people to validate it, and they would go through it and they'd say, oh, this is accurate. There's no way he could have known this. And because there was all this information from the Noah Dietrich memoir. So that made it look authentic. And they gave him $1 million advance, which was the largest book advance in American history at the time. And he asked them to make it out to H. Hughes, not Howard Hughes. And it was deposited into a Swiss bank account by a woman who called herself Helga Hughes and signed it Helga Hughes, because he wasn't trying to pass off that it was Howard Hughes depositing it. And that's part of what got him caught. But the thing that really got him caught was the Hughes people, and Dad was all over the place denying this. This is nonsense. This is not Howard Hughes's autobiography. He's a fraud. This is a hoax. They finally got a conference call with Howard Hughes. Now, this is in the mid-'70s. This is at a time when conference calls were not a thing. So there's video of this you could probably find on YouTube, where all of these reporters are sitting in a room and they've just set up this phalanx of telephones. And Howard Hughes calls from Bermuda and says, I'm Howard Hughes. And there were people there who knew him and they were able to verify. They asked him questions that only Howard Hughes would know. And he said, this is all a fake. This is all a fraud. That was the last time that Howard Hughes ever spoke to the public or was ever accessible to anybody.
Yeah,
So-
it says here you're likely referring to the infamous 3-hour telephone press conference given by Howard Hughes from his retreat in the Bahamas on January 9th, 1972. Hughes spoke to reporters in Los Angeles to address claims that a recent autobiography by Clifford Irving was a hoax, marking a rare exception to his self-imposed isolation. Okay, and that's from the
Correct.
New York Times. All right.
Correct. So I keep saying Bermuda. It's the Bahamas, or are they the same thing?
No, the Bahamas
by geography.
they're all
but-
part of the Bermuda
yeah.
Triangle, which the Mormon
Bermuda Triangle.
Mafia invented also, and
That is correct.
shall not be overlooked. I'm going to read a couple
you
of
go.
super chats really fast before we jam. I mean, not jam, before we finish the rest of Luke's video here. Nasty Dasty says Candace is either stupid or crazy. I haven't been able to take her seriously since she said dinosaurs are fake and gay. What a thing to have been added to the lexicon. Fake and gay. This is hilarious.
Well, that's why they went extinct, is because they were all gay.
They
They were okay.
Yeah, there you
Even
go.
better conspiracy. You know, and it was chemtrails were making the frogs gay, right? The Mormon Mafia
Right.
No,
made
the water was making the frogs
the water
gay.
was making the frogs gay.
Yeah.
The Mormon Mafia turned the dinosaurs gay. Before the water made the
Correct.
frogs gay, we were making the dinosaurs gay. So
And fake.
yeah, and fake. Tom Birmingham 216 says Hughes Glomar Explorer tag 193 Mormon CIA link. Okay.
Yes. This is what. So Candace is like, oh, the Robert Gay guy. He had connections to CIA. Wrong person. But what she didn't mention is Howard Hughes had connections to the CIA. Did work with the CIA. Widely reported, like I know this story. This was the first thing I heard about Howard Hughes was that in 1962, a Soviet sub was picked up on American sonar going down in the Atlantic, I believe, and so they could triangulate its position. And they're like, we would love to get this submarine. We would love to see what's on it, get their nukes, all that kind of stuff. This is a treasure. We know where it is and they don't. How do we do it without anybody knowing? Like we're going to try to pick a sub up from the ocean floor without the public knowing about it so that the Soviets don't know about it. So what was the solution? They go to the only person who was rich enough and weird enough, which was Howard Hughes, to build a cover ship that was the Glomar Explorer that was going to test the plausibility of undersea mining, of picking up like these little nodules of different metals that were on the ocean floor. And it's a new form of mining, going to give us a ton of money. And so they actually, Howard Hughes approved the use of his name to build this ship that was then parked off of the coast in the United States. And with a ton of people watching, secretly in the middle of the night, the CIA came under it and installed the apparatus that was going to reach down below this, down to the bottom of the sea floor, grab the Soviet submarine and lift it up into the hull of the ship so that they could have it right under the noses of everybody. It was the Glomar Explorer. Howard Hughes had his name on it. He signed off on it. Turns out they only ended up recovering 1/3 of the sub. That's a whole story on how that happened. But it's just like crazy stuff. And so Howard Hughes was in the CIA and Candace is trying to, not in the CIA, but worked with them. And so she's trying to throw out, oh, and he worked with the CIA. It's just this other connection that makes it really sus.
Dude,
When
this
Hughes
is-
himself, I mean, she was the one that said he was super paranoid of communists. Like he would be the first one to sign up to try to steal one of their subs from them.
This is so intriguing. I just put on the screen a little link for people to see. Back to the super chats, then back to your video. And then, Jim, feel free to correct the record with your primary source experience if we say something wrong here. Okay. Been here, done that says this story is so much better than Lego Gate. That is true. That is true. Although I got to tell you, I don't think any of us have any sympathy for Utah law enforcement. Like, you know what I'm saying? An American Fork, I don't know which needs to rehabilitate their image more by hiring Jim Bennett and his dad's PR firm. Whether it's, I don't know if it's Bricks and Minifigs or American Fork Police Department. Both of those are going to live in infamy for a while. So, Howard Hughes, Mark Hoffman, Donny Osmond, says Groark, the 70s really were a wild decade in church history. And Jim Bennett was there for the whole thing.
Well, and my father was part of all three of those to some degree. After he left the Hughes organization, he was hired as the PR guy for the Osmonds during the Donnie and Marie years.
Really?
Wow.
And, yeah. And then the Osmonds went belly up. Donnie and Marie show was canceled, and they practically went bankrupt. And he was very good friends with, was it Bruce Christensen? One of Hoffman's victims. He knew him very well, and I don't remember which one. So he wasn't really that tied into Mark Hoffman, but he knew one of the victims. But he was tied into the Osmonds. And then that ties the Osmonds into Howard Hughes, and it's all coming together in one big.
I think we're figuring it out.
Dude, if Donny Osmond could be the front man for the Mormon Mafia, that'd be awesome. In fact, by the way, guys, we're already making the Mormon Mafia t-shirt, and that cheese is going to be in the merch store like by end of day or something. This is going down. Like, this is happening. Less Wi-Fi, more Nephi is happening, and so is straight up Mormon Mafia. That will be a t-shirt within 24 to 36 hours if I have my way. So, in all seriousness though, Jim, so governmental investigations, I'm sure once you get into the highest echelons of government, you understand there's a certain element of just pomp and circumstance to a lot of the accusations that go backwards and forwards. I've helped different people with different political campaigns, and sometimes, you read headlines and you talk to them and say, "Oh, what's going on? Are you all right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, no big deal. Just people blowing steam. It's going to be a nothing burger." And other times, like, it can be actually quite drastic. So, like, did your family suffer during this, or was it kind of like you were able to brush it off because you knew it was hogwash, or like what was it like going through that?
Well, I don't really have a lot of firsthand memories of it. I mean, are you talking about like when my father was a senator, or
Well,
are you
just being
about
accused of like being part of Watergate and like
yeah,
that, like that sounds like it could have been quite terrible.
It was. So my father wanted to run for office much earlier than he did. He didn't run for the Senate until he was 59 years old.
Okay.
Which seemed ridiculously old, and I turn 58 next month.
Dude, all washed up, bro. All washed up.
Yeah, it's just wild. But he went to work in Washington. He was going to run for office, and then this hit, and it just absolutely destroyed his reputation. He was. They considered him a crook. The Nixon administration was the guy that my father took years to forgive. He would speak. I can remember him speaking about this guy with venom in his voice until I was a teenager. This guy named Chuck Colson, who I don't know if he was the White House press secretary or I don't remember what. He ended up being a born-again Christian and sold their Watergate books, and Chuck Colson, like, his was a big old evangelical Christian revival book, and made his living doing that. But
he was the director of the Office of Public.
Absolutely.
I just looked it up. Yeah,
okay,
he was.
Okay,
it looks like the equivalent of a press secretary nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the press saying, no, the Nixon administration had nothing to do with this. This is this crazy Nixon zealot, Bob Bennett. And it destroyed my father's career. I mean, he had been laying the groundwork to run for office. His father was the senator, from 1950 to 1974. And so Dad was the son of a senator. I know what it's like to be the son of a senator, but Dad very much was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to run and I'm going to be in the Senate and this is my life." And it just all blew up in his face. And it blew up financially. I mean, the company went bankrupt, and he.
Oh no! They got
Oh
him.
man.
They got him.
Was that us or was that the Jews? Which mafia are we talking about here that just cut
I
off?
thought we were working together, but maybe
Oh, we're working
the Jewish
together.
mafia.
Yeah.
But maybe we're fighting now.
Yeah, it could be like King of the Hill, you know?
We should
like,
probably just keep listening to Candace so we can figure this out.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that wasn't
it's
suspicious
above our
at all,
pay grade.
guys.
No.
okay. I'm letting Jim back in, but Leah, let's let Candace finish another 2 minutes of the video here.
Charity, the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, has an endowment of $24 billion. And deals were made, okay? We can update you today to who owns all this stuff. Today, his Las Vegas Sands Resort, obviously, and casino is controlled and operated by Miriam Adelson. It was Sheldon Adelson that had it, and of course, he passed away recently, so Miriam Adelson controls that. Steve Wynn controls the Frontier Hotel and casinos and the Desert Inn, the place where Howard Hughes became a reclusive, never drew the shades. Steve Wynn eventually demolished that, and today it is the famed Wynn Las Vegas Hotel. I should also mention that Frank William Gay, the trusted Mormon, he had a son, Robert Gay, who became the managing director of Mitt Romney's Bain Capital for 16 years.
And Robert Gay is the general authority now.
And the crazy thing was, Candace didn't find that. She's not very good at research. That would have tied in nicely to her little thing that she's got going here.
So we're embedded in the church.
Yeah. So the son of the guy who became the chairman of the charitable foundation that Howard Hughes got was the managing director of Mitt Romney's Bain Capital and a general authority of the church.
Yeah, he's still a general
No idea what that
authority,
has to do with Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, she's
okay. So I don't know how much time we have left, but
keep going.
With the Charlie Kirk thing, see what I'm I got my degree in psychology. I'm looking at this psychologically, and what I see is a pattern of Candace Owens. There's different ways you can go about making inferences and reasoning, right? And one of those ways is by association, right? So like, you see this and that, they're together, so now you associate those things together. And what I'm seeing is that as she's looking into this whole Charlie Kirk thing, her relationship with Charlie Kirk was such that she was very tight with him. She was becoming influential, and post the death of Charlie Kirk, there's now a power vacuum in Turning Point USA, and there are people, definitely vying for greater influence within the organization. But Candace Owens is sort of being kicked out of that entirely, and her relationship with Erica Kirk is totally severed. Her relationship with the Daily Wire is totally fried. But she's making associations, and that's kind of how she does her reasoning. And what's going on is the tea that I have on Turning Point USA is that one of the number 2 guys at Turning Point USA, I think his name is Tyler Brown, but I can't remember his name exactly. Yeah, he was a Mormon guy, but he was kind of like on the wild side. So he was like drinking at company meetings, doing all sorts of shady stuff. And I think he cheated on his wife, and all this is sort of like out in the open. And I think Candace Owens was like, "Oh, this guy's Mormon, and he's associated with all this like immoral stuff. Therefore, all Mormons are suspect because of this one guy." And she's making that association. And so for her to hear about all this, like, again, associations with Mormons and Howard Hughes and Watergate and all this stuff, she's just making all these associations, and it's sort of like confirming her priors that, oh, this guy that I know who's Mormon, who's like taking up a lot of space at Turning Point USA and pushing me out and to an extent, he's bad. Therefore, all Mormons are bad. Therefore, they're all just in the mud together, right? I think that's what's going on with her brain.
Dude, this. Well, thank you for the psychoanalysis, my friend.
Dude, anytime.
Alejandro, there's a reason. What'd you say, Luke?
Oh, Candace is going to bring that guy up later in the video, so you are right on the money with that.
Okay, a couple more super chats here before we go back to Candace. Tristan Evans says, "Not gonna lie, Mormon Mafia sounds like a great James Bond plot, cause it is." Def Paw, what's up, Def Paw? Moderator for our Discord here. Can Jim come teach modern history to my homeschool group? She asks. Pass him my info. We'll call it Not Secret Combinations of the 20th Century. Thank you very
Bro, that
much.
sounds way suspicious. Not secret combination. Not secret.
Yeah, although I got to say, Jim is a phenomenal storyteller. I would love to have him as a history teacher. Tom Birmingham 216, what's the Silgum de Emech? Is that part of this video, Luke?
I do not know. I have no idea what that's referring to.
I'm gonna have to Google it while we read the next super chat. MotoX Kid 19 says the difference between history and conspiracy is the missing bridge. You can't just connect dots. You have to prove the lines between them. So far, I'm seeing a lot of dots and not many lines. Very good. And then Tom Birmingham comes back and says, Los vampiros de Habana, messianic cults equal vampires. Dude, this guy's got banger super chats. You know, I feel like I gotta investigate each one of these. And one last one comes in. TX Deskpop says, have you seen the Mormon Mafia song yet? Check it. You know what? I haven't yet, but we will check it out as we not read the next super chats, but as we listen to Candace Owens' next claim. Here we go back to her video. Go.
Interesting. And the reason why
Oops, somebody's got to turn off their Zoom.
Is that me?
I think that's you. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, my kids have all wandered in, so.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I was gonna think about shouting something funny, so his kids could hear it, but then I was like, nah, we won't do that to him. So anyway, here we go. Candace continues.
I came across this guy's name, truly, I am not a movie person, was because when I was researching one of the Maroon Boys, who I'm not naming at this time, I did discover that he was a relative of the Hughes family empire. I thought, oh, who is this? Who is this Howard Hughes? And then I was speaking to some LDS church members who were then telling me the story, and I started reading the articles and going, wow, this is super fascinating. It's also interesting because I have been consistently telling you guys before all of this, before I knew anything, that ostensibly Turning Point USA is an evangelical Christian organization. But in reality, it's a lot of Mormons. Like half of the company, it's Mormons. Tyler Boyer, I have been telling you from the beginning, was the person that was in control of everything. The hiring, the firing. Charlie, he has...
Oh, so everything at Turning Point USA. For a second, I thought she was dropping the hammer there and saying that Tyler Boyer was in charge of everything. But we know that's not true because that's really Jasmine Rapoli.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And she will generally not say it. She will just say, here are some facts. Isn't that weird? Oh, well, moving on. And then you make the connections. And then she has plausible deniability. I never said that thing that I implied.
This whole thing sounds like a psyop. Like
Yeah.
she's just trying to twist the minds of the youth or something.
My favorite theory is that Candace Owens is a Jewish psyop to make everybody think that anything anti-Jewish is inherently as stupid as Candace Owens is, which is a pretty good theory as far as theories go. Like, dude, I'd back that one before the Mormons killed Charlie Kirk theory that Candace is doing here.
Dude, my favorite will always be Mormons and the Polish communist bees are Deseret. Like that, you just cannot get better than that. But we're going to try it. Let's see what she says.
It's described. Yeah, he followed Charlie. Charlie did all the work, but Tyler controlled a lot of things. There are a ton of LDS church members who work for Turning Point USA who were brought in by Tyler. In fact, on the day that he was murdered, Charlie himself confirmed that. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can take Charlie's word for it at UVU.
I know, but we weren't called the Mormon Mafia like all the guys that work for Howard Hughes. Like, why did Turning Point USA not give us credit where credit is due? You know what I'm saying? I feel besmirched, personally, that we weren't.
I mean, so
is her point that the Mormons killed Charlie Kirk? Is that where this all is going?
She never says it. She just implies and implies and implies, but that's the Mormons, meaning those specific Mormons, yes. I mean, that is...
Well, Howard Hughes has been dead for 50 years. And so how does Howard Hughes figure into this?
He doesn't. That's how it breaks down.
It's like, yeah, there was kind of a Mormon Mafia. I think they even called themselves the Mormon Mafia of the people who worked for Howard Hughes. They weren't a secret. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew who they were. They weren't working in stealth. If you watch the movie All the President's Men.
Oh, great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a scene at the beginning of the movie where Robert Redford calls Bob Bennett, or Bob Woodward, the character, played by Robert Redford, calls my father, and my father's actual work phone number is on screen on Bob Woodward's notepad. He flips and it says Bob Bennett, and there's the phone number, and he calls it and he's talking to him, and he goes, yeah, Howard Hughes, or not Howard Hughes, Howard Hunt, who's one of the Watergate burglars who worked for my father. It's like, yeah, we know he did this, and Dad said, and the CIA, of course, or the actor. And Robert Redford's eyes get big. Oh, yeah, and the CIA. Well, certainly, if you're conducting this investigation, you would know that Howard Hunt is connected to the CIA, and that leads to the next, layer of the onion as they're unpeeling Watergate. I mean, this has all been litigated and rehashed, and I mean, there is not an event that has had more documentation than Watergate. And Howard Hughes is kind of a part of that. And Howard Hughes's whole life has been documented down to the second almost. And the idea that there's some kind of secret conspiracy that has somehow survived 50 years into Turning Point USA.
That's exactly what the cabal would say. That's exactly. See, you sing for their choir, Jim.
That's right.
Which I understand is a humiliation ritual to get into the highest ranks of the Mormon Mafia, bro.
So am I getting into the highest ranks eventually?
Well, they put you on the top because you're the tallest.
Well, now that you've exposed it all.
Yeah, now I'm in trouble.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
Yeah, you might get a tape head in your bed tonight.
Yes.
Okay, we got the last 90 seconds of Candace Owens right now. Go.
This is what he said. Take a listen.
You can't really hear it, but Charlie.
I have my team is Mormon. Terrell's a Mormon. Andrew's a Mormon. Everything I say, everybody, I'm an evangelical Christian. We're going to have fun with this, but I'm not one of those guys that hates on Mormons.
All right. So, by the way, before we go any further, just super fast, I want to answer Jim Bennett's question by inviting one Joshua Carr into I want to answer Jim Bennett's question by inviting one Joshua Carr into the Zoom real fast. If you guys,
of them.
Yeah. Oh, there's two of them there. Yeah. So, Josh, we're listening to Candace Owens and her claims of the Mormon Mafia. You've done a buttload of investigations into this woman, right? And we're kind of wondering. Jim asked, like, what's her motivation? What's she going at? Saying what, like Mormons killed Charlie Kirk? What's your take on this? And tell us how much money she's made from all of this and what you've uncovered. This like blows. It never ceases to amaze me. Hit it. Go.
Sounds good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I was watching Love is Blind with my wife, and so I just threw something on and came down here. But yeah, so I
should have been watching the Odyssey.
Hey, I already watched it, and my audience hated my take on it, so I won't bring that up. But
I loved it. Just so you know, I saw it.
I heard it was actually good. I heard it was
me
good.
too.
It's good. Yeah. It was very good, and it had a lot
Okay.
of Christian and conservative undertones, so I appreciated that as well. But no, so I've done a lot of research into Candace Owens and her incentives and all of that. Suffice it to say, she's really not changed that much. People are acting like she's like a completely different person. Where did this come from? She's been like this for a very long time. She was a leftist in 2015. Before that, she kind of switched after Donald Trump won the nomination. And so if you really look at how she's acted, it's been kind of just blowing with the wind. But in terms
Dude,
of the financials, if you
no,
look into, oh yeah, what's up?
no, I was just say I'm glad you brought that up because the way that so first of all, you can't show up to a fight against Mormons and talk about history without getting absolutely obliterated. Like Mormons own history.
Yeah.
Like we have the most robust historian community like of any church in America.
So
And the
like
way
when
that
Dr. Fauci says, "I am the science," you heard from Alejandro Rodriguez that Mormons own history. We
yeah,
just
like
own
we have
it.
so many historians. Like, but the way that she's doing history, the way she's sort of like making inferences and cobbling things together, it is very similar to how you do history, like how you do critical history when you go to college and do like kind of that woke stuff. And she's making like some really interesting associations and like kind of like proposing like alternative histories, and kind of like and she's being very critical and she's suspicious, and that's kind of like the lens by which she does history. And I'm like, oh, like I can tell the way that you were taught to do history was by from
Could,
some woke
could
professor in
you
college.
imagine dating her or being married to her? Like, does she wake up in
Dude,
the
oh my
morning?
gosh. Can
No,
you
no.
imagine? It's like, hey, I saw your YouTube history.
Just imagine she comes down and like dinner's not ready, or whatever. She's like, "So I came down earlier and I noticed there were no eggs in the pan, and the pan had Teflon on it, and Teflon was developed by a corporation that killed thousands of people, and you were late to bed last night. So I'm not saying you killed thousands of people, but I didn't see you come home last night." Just like
The
imagine.
mistake you're making, the mistake you're making right now, Cardin, is thinking that she's had anything to do with cooking over the last like 5 years. She has a personal chef that cooks all of her meals. She's never looked at. She doesn't know what
Is she
Teflon is on
married?
a pan. Yeah, she's
She
married
is.
to oh yeah. So this is a huge part of the story, guys.
English aristocrat.
Yeah, yeah. So she is married to a man named George Farmer, and I've looked into him. He was part of my investigation. His father was in the House of Lords. I don't think he's in the House of Lords anymore, but George Farmer is worth over $200 million. And so a lot of people look at that and immediately dismiss this idea that Candace Owens would be motivated by money because they're like, well, she's already worth $200 million. What is more money? But what people are missing is if you do all the math, and this is just kind of standard in the media industry, if you look at how many sponsors she's got in all of her videos, if you look at the standard CPM, which is cost per mil, which essentially is how much advertisers are willing to pay per 1,000 views. If you just multiply that and then multiply the views that she gets, she's making around $300,000 per episode. And so if you do the math on how much it's been north of $60 million in the last year. So, $200 million is a lot of money, but Candace Owens will actually probably dwarf her husband's net worth with what she's doing if she can keep up on it. And I think she will. I think those theories, they do sell. And that's math I've done. I've also corroborated it with multiple people, including Jeremy Boring, which probably knows Candace Owens' finances better than anyone since he employed her for many years. So there's massive financial incentives. But she's also said herself, this is not me putting words in her mouth. She has said she wants to be like Oprah, that Oprah is her kind of media fantasy, the person that she looks up to the most. And so I think there's obviously a large element of just wanting to be famous as well.
Okay. Well, she better start gaining weight fast because I met Oprah first on all of her Weight Watchers commercials. Yeah, dude, that was like my youth. She was like the spokeswoman for Weight Watchers on daytime television when I was watching MacGyver with my mom. So, yeah, maybe once she starts doing those infomercials, even more money will start, coming in. So, all right, well, let's let her finish. The Mormon Mafia. And then Jim, step in if there's something incorrect historically. And then Joshua, step in if there's something you're like, this has to be said.
Half of my team is Mormon. He's telling the truth. And then he says, Andrew, he's not referring to Andrew Colbert. He's referring to the person that picks what stops he goes onto. and yeah, who runs the field program. That is a Mormon, and Tyler's a Mormon. He's talking. Terrell's a Mormon. Terrell's the guy who takes down the cameras, the Farnsworth guys, and all of these people knew Erica before Erica knew Charlie. And yes, it may or may not be relevant that Tyler is sitting on the board of a company with Erica's mother, Lori Franzwey, who had those relationships with the Mormons, like Terrell Farnsworth, before Charlie knew who Lori Franzwey and Erica Franzwey were. He brought in Erica. Of that, there is no doubt. They have both admitted that. It should be noted that Erica herself is very close with the Vegas casino families, flying around on their planes. That's a fact. All of this just feels a little bit reminiscent to me.
Okay. So, okay. So all the Mormons knew Erica or her mom, and also the casino owners of the casino that used to be owned by Howard Hughes, whose foundation was given to a Mormon, all knew Erica before and basically set her up with Charlie so that they all could betray him right when he just so happened to be changing his position on Israel, looking into TPUSA finances, and redoing his will all within the same week. And that's when they decided to take him out. And also, I don't know, we kind of missed it earlier, but one of the guys in the maroon shirts was a descendant of Howard Hughes. I don't know how this becomes any more clear.
Howard Hughes doesn't have any descendants.
Related to him somehow. I don't know. Candace was the one that said it.
I mean, that was the big issue with the wills, is he didn't have any direct descendants. It ended up going to distant relatives. That's though, I'm listening to that. That's where the chain breaks, because she thinks there's some kind of chain between the Hughes hotels that were sold.
Not to the people that own them now.
Yeah, but when Hughes died, all of that stuff collapsed. They sold it because there was nobody running it anymore. The Summa Corporation doesn't exist anymore. The foundation, the charity exists, and that's and she's saying a Mormon runs that, and lovely. But if she's trying to draw a line between current casino owners who bought these casinos from Howard Hughes at bargain basement prices, at fire sale prices, because the Hughes organization was liquidating everything, that's just silly. There is absolutely no connection. And for her to think that somehow because they're Jewish and we're the mountain Jews, or it doesn't make a lick of sense. There is absolutely no connection between Howard Hughes and Sheldon Adelson and Steve Wynn. These are guys. Hughes stumbled into Vegas and didn't really want to be there, but started buying up hotels to justify allowing him to live in the top floor of the Desert Inn and watch movies all day. I mean, it was not a coherent business strategy. It was, and it doesn't have a through line to 2026.
Okay. Sorry, Jim. Josh, how evangelical or Mormon is TPUSA? Because it's funny, when you talk to people that hate Mormons, it's a Mormon institution. But like, I don't know how friendly most people would say they are post Charlie Kirk towards members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It seems that they've definitely shifted a lot more Doug Wilson-esque, a lot more white Christian national Mark Driscoll-esque, instead of like, I love Mormons. You guys believe weird stuff, but I don't hate you. I think you're awesome. I hired half of you. Like Charlie Kirk was amazing in that regard toward members of our faith. Mm-hmm. So like what in your investigations and your research, like what read do you get on TPUSA?
No, that's a good question. I do think so. Tyler Boyer is really the only like prominent member of the church that's in TPUSA. You're right; it's a lot more evangelical than LDS. The people at the top are pretty friendly towards members of the church. Jack Posobiec and I were on Newsmax yesterday together. I mean, he's always been quite friendly with me. He's very friendly with Kai Schwimmer, who I think he invited into the courtroom. So yeah, at the top, they're friendly, but that doesn't mean that they're LDS. And I'll just say this, I have to go in just a second, but I wanted to say this on Jim's point. is that in my investigation, I actually spoke to a former producer of Candace Owens. I spoke to many people who have worked with her in the past, and how she formulates these episodes. For those of us who are thinking logically and actually trying to put together how this narrative actually works, is basically she gets some sort of idea, which is this time Mormon Mafia. And she goes to her team of producers. Right now, she has about 4 producers. And she says, all right, go out, do tons of tips. We're going to take in hundreds of tips. And we're going to essentially just see what we can find. And we only have about 12 hours to do this because we released yesterday's episode and we need to get this one out, in the next 24 hours. And so basically they come together with 50 different data points. They look at what forms the best narrative. They kind of just connect the dots, and the dots usually form some sort of a Star of David, or maybe in our case, an Angel Moroni or something. And that's the story for the day. And it's a new story.
Very much a sharpshooter
well.
fallacy sort of story, right?
That's exactly right. And so they never actually, go to the actual data, instead of talking about like DNA evidence or ballistics, they focus on like the 50 different random things and how they connect. So just so you guys know, and so your audience understands, that's how they formulate an episode every single day.
Okay, one last question before you go. And by the way, thank your wife for giving us for these 15 minutes. I owe you both dinner when I go back to Utah. Just yes or no, and you can elaborate if you feel you have to. But in your opinion, is Emmanuel Macron's wife a man or a woman?
Well, that's not a yes or no question, but Brigitte Macron is a woman.
Next
up, not yes or no,
Michelle Obama. No, I'm totally just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'm less sure about Michelle Obama than I am Brigitte Macron. All right, guys.
Funny.
Hey, God bless.
Catch you later, man. Catch you later, bro. So
I want it on record that I do not endorse any of that nonsense.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you realize, but Candace Owens, I think she really blew up on the conspiracy front because she was kind of like a political commentator. She did this 12-part series on Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, to such a degree that she was sued by the French government. I don't know if you caught wind of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she was sued by the French government, and they did the stupidest thing possible, which was acknowledging it. They should have just completely
the
ignored it.
Streisand effect.
Yeah, but they acknowledged it, and they tried to sue her, which would then create discovery, and then even Donald Trump had to call her up saying, Candace, what are you doing? I really like Emmanuel Macron. He's an ally. He's a friend. Brigitte, I've met her. She's a lovely woman. Now you've got one president of the United States of America trying to defend another president of the United States of America's first lady. And it's how did we get here? How did we get here? It was pretty wild. So, that's the other gift she gave the internet, that Brigitte Macron is not a woman or whatever, and we still take her seriously. This is awesome. So last 30 seconds right here, go.
Man living his life one way, relying on his lieutenants, not knowing what was really going on around him, and then suddenly he picks up his head and starts asking questions. And now we see the organization that he left behind, the one that he built, doing a complete 180 on virtually everything he believed. The very people that he trusted the most in his inner circle are doing a 180 on the things that Charlie believed. Anyway, it's all just something to think about.
Oh, it's all just something to think about.
So let me give you the TLDR. We'll summarize everything that we've gone over in this last hour and a half. Okay, ready? Billionaire recluse Howard Hughes was surrounded by an inner circle of Mormon Mafia in the last years of his life before he died suspiciously in 1975, like Michael Jackson, who was probably killed by the Jewish Mafia, on board a plane owned by the man who founded the company that owned the Egyptian plane that took off just before Charlie's assassination. And Hughes's primary Mormon handler was the father of a man who managed Mitt Romney's Bain Capital. And after a legal battle in which the Church of Latter-day Saints submitted a suspicious handwritten will for Howard Hughes, which was ultimately rejected, his Mormon handler became chairman of his organization. One of the hotels that Hughes owned ended up in the hands of Blake Wind, who is friends with Erica Kirk. Also, one of the Maroon Shirt Boys is related to Howard Hughes. Anyway, Charlie's inner circle was also comprised of Mormons, even though TPUSA is supposed to be Christian evangelical, who were in charge of TPUSA money. And Charlie conveniently died right before changing TPUSA's stance on Israel, doing a financial audit of the money controlled by the Mormons, and changing his will. Therefore, according to Candace's own words, quote, all of this just feels a little reminiscent to me, right? A man living his life one way. That's what she said.
Yeah.
It's not a word.
That's what she said. She's known for this. A man living his life one way, relying on his lieutenants, not knowing what was really going on around him, then suddenly picks up his head, starts asking questions. Anyway, it's all just something to think about. That is the brilliant reporting and investigation from Candace Owens.
Filing this under schizomaxing. That's the new.
I'm just listening to it laid out like that. There are enough things in that are true.
Exactly.
That you can skip over the ridiculous leaps. Everything she was saying about Howard Hughes was essentially true. And then all of a sudden, the only reason that matters is because some Egyptian guy owned a plane that took off. I mean, it's like...
Well, and a relative of his was wearing a red shirt at the assassination.
I mean, it's just loopy. I mean, it's like... okay, because Howard Hughes dies in 1975, and Howard Hughes ends.
Clear, however, that in my...
Oops, sorry. Keep going.
I mean, the entire estate was completely liquidated, and Howard Hughes's influence in the world did not survive him for a second. It was just completely dissolved. None of his family carried on any of his legacy. There isn't any through line, and there isn't any Mormon connection to all of these casino owners who had no connection to Howard Hughes other than it would be like saying, okay, whoever owned this house, I can't even remember their names, that we bought our house from 20 years ago, if they were to be serial killers, Jim Bennett bought his house. It's just something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no connection there. There's nothing.
I mean, you realize that you're going to be the next episode, right? Jim
I
Bennett,
hope so.
who's related.
That would be really, really fun. If she wants to have me on there, or Jim Bennett has just son of a... Oh man, that would be so much fun.
So
Candace, if you're listening, your people should call my people.
Well, but your people, wait, the Zionist people,
your wife, bro.
The mountain Jews or the desert Jews? Which people of yours should be calling her people?
I grew up in Calabasas, California, where at the Las Virgenes School District, where we got all the Jewish holidays off from school.
Oh, cool.
We used to go to Disneyland every Yom Kippur because nobody was there.
Do you mean Yom Kippur? You mean Yom Kippur?
Oh, how dare you! How dare you!
No, actually, I was going to say, I could tell that you grew up in Los Angeles because you actually know how to pronounce the Jewish holidays correctly.
No, all of my friends growing up that weren't members of the church were Jewish.
Yeah.
I went to everybody's bar mitzvah. I was very jealous because I didn't get a bar mitzvah. Because you get a lot of money at a bar mitzvah. Everybody gives you... all my friends finance their college educations with their bar mitzvah money. But it was... Yeah, so I know a lot of Jews. So, yeah, Candace, put me on the map, man. That'd be fun.
So here's my only... Okay, so all joking aside, this is where I get serious. If you study World War II, one of the reasons, and World War I actually, one of the reasons why the French lost consistently, a lot of historians and media historians, especially those that study propaganda, realized a grievous error that was committed on behalf of the Allies, especially the French, that was never committed on behalf of the Germans. Whether we like to admit it or not, the German army in World War II was the single greatest fighting force ever really assembled up until then in world history. when you look at the battles that they would have against American forces and allied forces, they would have kill ratios of sometimes 2-to-1, 3-to-1. This was a talented, a well-trained, a culturally lethal army. All right. And when media analysts have gone back and thought, okay, how was America able to mobilize so well? How was Germany able to mobilize so well? They study a lot their propaganda, right? And in the propaganda of the French towards the Germans, they committed the error of making their enemy look buffoonish and silly and stupid and mocking him, saying like, oh, they're crazy, oh, they're dumb, they're wild. Whereas the Germans would make them come across as lethal. Like, beware, these people will kill you, right? And so the French were less prepared for the lethality of war, while the Germans were more so, okay? And so when I look at Candace Owens, yes, there's part of me that just wants to laugh. Like, oh, she got us. It was the plane and the hotel and the crazy billionaire and the fake will. It all adds up. Ha ha. But like, these theories really do actually have consequences, right? And they're manifest kind of in these comment sections. Like, I'm looking at this comment section right now, and it's actually kind of a little bit disturbing how people react to this. You know,
Yep.
like, Candace, your audience does not have to be bought. We actually chose to watch you every day. No one forces us. They are the grifters. Those accusing you of falsehood are the grifters. They're big mad when the scales have fallen from our eyes. And then finally, here's another one that's a kicker. I mean, I'm only 5 comments deep. It's wild how deep this goes. What? And then finally, look at this. All we can do is work harder than them, Charlie and Candace. They may have more money, more influence, and the entire media apparatus and court system behind them, but we have the heart of the nation, and we can and will outwork them. This is literally the rhetoric and verbiage taken from, like, people that believed in Kristallnacht. You know? And I'm going down here and there's not anybody that says, yeah, this kind of seems far-fetched. Literally, they're saying, oh, Grateful 2021 says, wow, the dots you connect are amazing. God bless you. Already with 40 likes on a video that has 500,000 views, and it's not even 5 hours old yet. She's not connecting dots.
Well, here we go. Here's a comment. Loved the Mormon Mafia and Howard Hughes history lesson. Just goes to show money really does attract the most despicable and corrupt people. The irony.
The projection.
The irony of that. Oh my gosh.
Dude, okay,
she's made way more money than Howard Hughes' Mormon Mafia ever made off of his death. It's ridiculous.
One of the weirdest things that happened. So like in World War II, right? Like when Mustache Man, I don't know if I can say his name online on the air, but when Mustache Man wrote The Power,
we call him the failed painter.
When he rises to power, it's not merely a democratic process. It's like really like a religious transformation that happens in Germany, and there's a huge psychological transformation that also happens, and the propaganda had a lot to do with it. And you see the National Socialists, their propaganda machines start producing artwork, borrowing from Christian symbolism and things from like the mystics in the, you know, by the what's that river called, the Rhineland River, you know, and those mystics and stuff like that. And what happens is a lot of the issues that were going on in Germany, like the hyperinflation and the economy and like the loss of political influence and things like that, all those become psychologized and they get projected into the imagination. And so you get like, I mean, there's a reason why anti-Semitism is blooming there, right? Because they're saying, hey, these people who their God is like this cruel old man in the Old Testament, they're pulling the levers, and that's why we're suffering today. And they're doing the same thing. I mean, the fact that people call us Mountain Jews is so telling. Like they're trying to basically say like, hey, maybe this minority religion, just like the Muslims and just like the Jews, etc., like they're gonna take over America. And we're scared of that. And I mean, that's why they killed Joseph Smith. They didn't just kill Joseph Smith because he destroyed a printing press. They killed him because he was able to mobilize a voting bloc in Nauvoo in Illinois, right? And the Mormons, I mean, when Mitt Romney ran for president, like the Mormon voting bloc is powerful. And so people are they're gonna point their fingers at us and they're gonna say, hey, this is why the economy is bad. That's why you're rich and we're poor. That's why you have tight knit communities and we're all atomized and lonely. There's a lot of issues and like distrust of institutions, and people are going to find a scapegoat. They're going to psychologize all these things. And they're gonna blame us for it. And like, yeah, so you see that rhetoric, and it's really coming from a place of not abundance, but of a place of um, scarcity, where people cannot, like, they feel like they have no other options, and their hands are tied and they have no resources.
Okay, cool. Luke, dude, so one, how do you feel after having watched Candace Owens for 2 hours straight and done a bunch of research? And two, what are these memes you put in the Discord?
I feel both dumber and smarter for having watched Candace Owens. Dumber because of what I was subjected to, but smarter because I'm just way smarter than her audience, which isn't saying that much, but makes me feel good. I do have just one more depressing comment to read from these comments. Oh lordy, this Mormon Mafia and Howard Hughes connection tied all the cast of characters together very nicely. I had no idea it all meshed so completely. 128 likes.
Wow.
Dude, these are bots, bro. They gotta be paid bots that are gassing her up right now, man.
Okay. Maybe, although I think she's in it to get the money, not to pay the bots the money.
Oh, that's true.
All right, so yes, the memes. So we need some memes to clear our system out.
These ones are great. I think we can thank Nathan Miles for these ones. But this is probably going to be the graphic on one of the first shirts. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it, the Mormon Mafia. Right there. It's right there. Also, if we're going to be Mafia, Mormon Mafia, we should be calling ourselves with the font of the Godfather Makers. Or the God Makers.
That one is my favorite.
Dude, Godfather
Makers.
Love it.
The Godfather Makers. That is going to be that one's pretty classic. I don't think it gets better than that one right there. And then now we also have Candace Owens as Sukalos from Ancient Aliens. Mormons. Wow, dude, that's a really. Who made that one? Was that you, Luke?
No, I found these. These were the comments to my posting of Candace's Mormon Mafia thing.
Oh, that's so. I was with the Mormon Mafia one. That was just a post as well.
Yep.
Oh, I take it back.
Well, no. That one was Nathan Miles. I'm assuming because I didn't see that one, and he's the one that posted it. The Godfather Makers and the Mormons is from X.
Yeah.
Although we once again have done better research than Candace. Somehow she missed the Elder Gay as a general authority. She also missed this post from 2016. This is how long they've been planning this, Cardin, by Ben Shapiro. He says, I know you drank the coffee, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart. Hashtag Mormon Mafia.
Oh, that is too.
Dude,
right there.
He's embroiled, dude.
A decade before. Like, this is how long this has been going on.
That is
crazy, and we're only just uncovering it.
That is too funny, dude. That is
bro.
Just way
by the
too
way, my family claims dibs on Candace Owens' baptism in the future.
You can have it.
Here's a couple
we'll redeem her at last.
Here's a couple of other funny comments. She is leaving no stone unturned. Some casualties will happen along the way. I'm fully on board with her finding the truth about the Charlie Kirk murder. The Mormon Church has always been an easy target because we believe what we preach, quote, to turn the other cheek.
Okay,
Interesting.
like these comments are so dumb. Like, oh, like, oh, sure, like nothing has been found that your son was the one that murdered so and so, was involved in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. But it's important to investigate all the stones and not leave them unturned. It's like, or you could just not smear somebody with absolutely no evidence whatsoever and just call it research as your blanket for doing that. It's ridiculous, and it sounds like so rational at first, and then when you think about it for more than 5 seconds, it's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, Candace is not the one in charge of investigating this, and it's been 11 months and she hasn't found anything. Maybe if there is something to be investigated, Candace is not the one to be doing it, because she doesn't seem to be getting anywhere with this.
Yeah. Word, I hear you. Okay, so I think that's it, right? We covered the memes. We covered the video. Make sure we have caught up with all the super chats here. Fight Sword Radio says, I think Candace has figured out what Alex Jones has known all along. The crazier the conspiracy, the more people will hear to have you peddle it. We got another 2 minutes here before we jam, guys. So if you have any last super chats that you want to send us, please make sure that you guys do that post haste, as long as they are appropriate and can be read and they are germane to the conversation. We'll do our best to read them on air. Other than that, we also want to make sure that we give a big shout out to our sponsors. First sponsor of this episode is, oh no, that's Candace Owens' thumbnail. Screwed that one up. Hold on. First sponsor of today's episode is Go and Do Travel. All right, specifically their Wave Makers cruise. I can't center this right here. Go and Do Travel is an LDS themed travel company that helps us not only by helping keep the lights on here in the studio and so on and so forth, but they allow us to do education on their tours and some fundraisers. So if you guys are on the Wavemakers tour, you'll be able to see a presentation by me. But make sure you come ready to help us out and purchase some cool stuff at the auction that we will be collaborating with Go and Do Travel on as part of our fundraiser. For more information on Go and Do Travel, please make sure you guys visit goanddotravel.com. Also, big shout out and thank you to Scripture Notes. Get more revelation in less time, the coolest way of reading your scriptures online. All of the scriptural references that you see on screen during our regular pre-recorded videos and live streams come from scripturenotes.com. Also, big thank you to the Hughes Organization and the CIA for providing us with the source material of today's episode.
It has been a pain booking their Egyptian planes, though. Like,
Yeah,
that
I
is my
think,
one complaint.
Yeah.
I think 7,000 just hit my account, bro.
Oh,
Dude.
yes. No,
Congrats.
that's the Jewish mafia pays
Oh,
7,000.
I'm sorry.
But we're working
we
together,
pay
'cause
15. We pay 15.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whatever they pay, we pay 10% above.
yeah. Oh, exactly. Now you get it. So also big shout out. Thank you very much to Angel Studios, another sponsor of this episode. For more information on Angel Studios, make sure you guys check them out at angel.com. So, wow, this was wild. Final thoughts, man. Alejandro, what'd you think, bro? What'd you think?
Dude, I had a blast, man. This was fantastic. And Luke, I'm glad we finally got to meet. I only see you on
yes,
Twitter.
it's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, good to meet you.
And what are your final thoughts, Luke? What'd you think, man?
I'm not watching Candace anymore. I think that was my fill for the year.
Oh, really?
So hopefully she's done with this. She moves on to something else. But
be honest. Were you a Candace fan previously?
I bought Candace's book, and then before she even left Daily Wire, I sold it. And I never watched her when she was on Daily Wire. I was kind of like,
Really?
she's not nearly as good as the other ones. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Was
the
that
answer
your
is
sexism?
yes.
Was that your sexism or your racism?
Are we still alive, bro?
Yeah, totally.
To be honest, I have not enjoyed any of the female Daily Wire hosts that they brought on, but it's not sexist, it's just
I mean, I thought Brett Cooper
just the
was
facts.
cool.
Oh, I didn't like Brett. Brett was my least favorite.
Oh, she was
Really?
funny.
Yeah.
She had a great sense of humor and
Yeah,
personality.
I don't care. I can go watch a comedian or something for funny. Like,
I think when she
I
left,
went-
Oh,
it
she
went
created
further
culture.
downhill.
Brett Cooper was great.
yeah.
Candace, I never liked her, but I think it was because I think she was too antagonistic to people she disagreed with. Like she was one time she was on an interview with Cornel West, and she was just like really rude. I was like, man, like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I disagree with Cornel West on a lot of things, but like I feel like he at least tries to like be respectful. And Candace, I mean, it's all out now. Like Candace is just full of teeth, and she's out for blood. So
Yeah.
she didn't strike me as a very good person in general.
Yeah. Well, I hear you, man. I hear you. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who's hung out with us here. Please, if you haven't had a chance yet to like the stream, make sure you guys drop us a like or a sub. If you guys received one of Mary Lou Howarth's free memberships, please make sure you remember to renew them so you get some of the cool members only or members first videos that come out. If you want to support the channel, please also make sure you visit the merch store where you can get one of our shirts or one of our popular War in Heaven veteran hats, which are available as we speak right now. You can go there. And big shout out to all of our Discord moderators. We've got 7 Discord moderators who are phenomenal people that keep the Discord a live, fun, and bumpin' place. Let me tell you, if you're a fan of this show, you're going to be a fan of the Discord. We have a prayer roll there where you can submit any of the issues that you might be having with yourself or with your family. I myself am actually putting on the prayer roll for my leukemia. I'm taking a break from my chemotherapy and am hoping to not have to go back on. So any that want to pray on my behalf, I am also submitting my own name to the prayer roll, and I do believe that prayers actually work and help people. And so if you have any needs there, you can get on the prayer roll. We also have a fun writers group. We have deep doctrinal discussions. We have a debunkings page. Just pretty much anything and everything members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can talk about is on the Discord, and it's a really, really fun experience. Big shout out to Large and in Charge Ethan Fawcett over there as well, and Alicia Brown and Def Paw, who I saw actually in the chat for this live stream. They're also mods over there as well, like with Samuel Skeen, Fog Defense, and we got Blood Track, and I don't want to forget Charlene, and I'm not forgetting anybody, I don't think. If I do, I owe you a gift certificate, and I'm a chump. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been real.
We do have 20 gift memberships just submitted in the final minutes by Grork.
Grork, my
Mhm.
man, coming
So
in
W
strong.
times 20.
W times 20. We've received the records.
Also, I did appreciate a comment somebody did that was not a super chat, but I'm going to read it anyway. They said, man, when Luke's boycotting him, it's a real problem.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
My undying love for the Daily Wire. They can do no wrong except for hire Candace. That's how you know it was really bad.
That's your dividing line right there.
Yeah.
It's the Candace line. So
Yep.
it's like the Maginot line, but it's just the Candace line. Or the Mendoza line, it's just the Candace line.
Except it was kind of a paper tiger, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys, on this episode of The Mormon Mafia Fights Back. Where can people find you if they're looking for you, Alejandro?
So check out my channel, Rough Stone Trolling. We do deep dives into a lot of different topics, religion, philosophy, politics, you name it, it's all in there. And then if you haven't checked out the Latter-day Lobsters, check them out. The wildest Facebook group in Mormondom. So
Okay, rock on. And Luke, if people want to set you straight on Candace Owens, where should they find you?
They should find me at carden@wardradio.com. Just email that. All your complaints.
Oh, that's funny. So, thanks a million, guys, for hanging out with us. It's been real, and it's been fun, and it's been real fun. For this and more, please make sure you guys